When we travel, we usually want to sightsee and do everything that we want to do without breaking our wallet. And one of those things that usually tend to rank up our expenses is food. So, what if I told you that if you come here to Japan, you can find a lot of delicious options for a very good price that's not gonna break your wallet and rank up your budget? So, in this video, what I wanna do is just show you some of those options so that you are more aware of where to go and how you can spend your money when it comes to food. And I also wanna show you the one almost forgotten, very traditional Japanese food that you can find over here for a very good price. And no, I am not talking about sushi. You could say it's unhealthy, and if you eat it too often, you are definitely right. You could say it's overpriced, and if you compare it to the prices of 10 years ago, perhaps, but when you travel, I guarantee you, you are going to be very happy to find the first place I'm going to mention, and that is McDonald's. And this is because, aside from being a familiar food you will find anywhere, it will usually give you a more accurate idea of how inexpensive or expensive the country you are visiting is compared to wherever you came from. For example, the average McDonald's meal in the US when I went there came out to about $11. Meanwhile, in Japan, it came out to about $6. So, as they say, you get more bang for your buck. Also, the McDonald's in most countries that you visit have special items in their menu only found in those countries. In Japan, you have the teriyaki burger, which is extremely delicious. And while I was there, I also found these 3 additional items found only in Japan: the cheese lokomoko burger, the garlic shrimp burger, and the sakugiri potato and beef creamy jalapeno burger. I tried them all, and they were all well worth it. It's no surprise even Wendy's showed up to buy McDonald's. The next food that you are going to find for a very reasonable price is, of course, ramen. If you are in Japan, you are going to find ramen shops almost everywhere, and of course, you are going to have to try some of them at some point. Because it is very common to find a ramen shop anywhere in Japan. Very quick to order, and they are very filling. Most important, when it comes to your budget, you will get a full bowl easily for under $10 that will fill up even the most hungry of us. And to top it off, they have so many varieties of ramen that they are sure to match your taste. And much like ramen, the next place that I am going to mention is another one that you should definitely try, and that is Japanese curry. You can find Japanese curry places almost everywhere in Japan. Unfortunately, not as much as 10 years ago. Perhaps the national palate has changed, or perhaps the pandemic affected a lot of those curry shops that used to be around for Japanese curry. Now, I have noticed being here now that there are a lot of more international curry places like Indian and such things, but it's still, Japanese curry is one of those plates that you have to try if you come to Japan. Some ramen and curry places will have a vending machine outside with an English translation where you make your selection, insert your money, and get a ticket of your order. You take that ticket to the cook inside and they serve you your order. They have 2 types of Japanese curry: the golden one, which is my favorite, and also the brown one. Shops usually have one or the other. If you are staying in Shinjuku, a great place to check out is Spice Factory, right inside the station near the exit closest to Kabukicho, where they sell the golden one. And a good option if you like pork is Katsu Curry. And just like ramen shops or curry shops, you can also find omurice shops here in Japan. Oftentimes you can also find it in places both together with curry or with ramen. But it's one of those interesting dishes that you do want to try if you come to Japan, and you can find it in a shop for a very reasonable price. It is a delicious omelette over rice meal with a tasty sauce, and the best place where to try it is at a maid cafe in Akihabara. So whenever you decide to go to Akihabara, look for a maid cafe, and try out an omurice for a very reasonable price. Another very inexpensive option, which I tried and it is delicious, is yakitori, which is skewered chicken. You can also find one more skewered fish, which has a different name, and that is shioyaki. I had to write it down. But if you find that, you have to try both of them. They are very delicious and usually for a very reasonable price. It provides a very good snack. And when you see it, you will recognize it. And if you want something bigger, trust me on this one, you're gonna try it. It is very delicious. And since they are usually very inexpensive, about $1 to $2, you can easily chow down 2 to 4 of these along with a drink or something else and get easily filled up. If you've seen movies or animation from Japan, I am sure you've seen them eating shioyaki or yakitori before, but you probably didn't know they were so inexpensive and delicious. Now, not to confuse them with unagi or eel, which unagi don is a little more costly, but when it comes to taste, it is well worth the price and every penny you have to pay for it, so try that out as well. And of course, you can find very expensive, but also relatively well priced of the king of all Japanese food, and that is sushi. You will be able to find sushi shops almost everywhere you go, and you can expect to spend a minimum of $15. However, I feel like I never really had sushi until I tried real sushi in Japan. I've never had a sushi back home that compares. If you are in Shinjuku, I recommend Tsukiji Sushiko. I spent about $40 on an assorted plate with a drink and an appetizer. It was money very well spent. Everything was delicious. Every piece had a texture and a taste completely different from all the others, and the service was quick and friendly. Being high quality food means it will not be inexpensive, but it is a must try if you do come to Japan. And the champion when it comes to affordable food is convenience stores. Yes, believe it or not, convenience stores. These are not like the ones back home. These are great places to find really good food for a very good price, especially when it comes to breakfast items. You will find different ones everywhere. My favorite being Lawson and of course 7-Eleven. Spending more than $10 at one of these was a challenge because I always came under it. The prices were that great. Some of the items I would buy would be a full bottle of water to keep at the hotel and one for carrying in my backpack as I went throughout my day. I would go most of the time for Pocari Sweat since it is tasty and refreshing. In the summer, you will always want to carry a bottle of water with you and stay hydrated. Fortunately, there are vending machines everywhere you go in the streets and tourist locations. Even while driving through the mountains in the middle of seemingly nowhere, there was a vending machine. Now, at convenience stores, I would also buy a breakfast sandwich, of which they have different varieties, a Mount Rainier cafe latte that I would put in the refrigerator for the morning. Sometimes I would also buy instant ramen since the hotel rooms have a kettle room for boiling water. I would buy ice cream and perhaps a pastry or a delicious melon bread, which you must try at a 7-Eleven. Once in a while, I would get some chips, I would get some Pocky sticks, and I definitely recommend this aside from the Pocari Sweat. Trying out this fruit Olay drink. It's very sweet and delicious. And it is in one of these convenience stores that you can find that very traditional Japanese food that many people have forgotten that I am talking about. Nowadays, everybody talks about sushi and sushi and sushi, and that seems to be the Japanese food of choice. Of course, it is the king of Japanese food. But onigiri, rice bowl, has always been a very traditional Japanese food and one that you cannot miss. If you come here to Japan, trust me, you are going to love it. You have a lot of different options in the convenience stores, usually priced at about $1, and it is something that you can quickly grab for breakfast or for a snack in the middle of the day if you are on the run and just continue about your day. So that is the one forgotten food that many people will love if they come to Japan.